Good morning, students. Let's start with the further discussion of the chapter Acids, Bases and Salts. We have completed the first part of the chapter in our previous lecture. That was acids. In that we have studied its definition, types, preparation, physical and chemical properties of acids and uses of acids. Today we are going to start with the next topic, that is bases. In that we will study definition of base, classification of bases and preparation of bases. Before starting, let's take some examples like copper oxide, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide and zinc oxide. In this we can see that the elements is metallic. That is the first one, that is copper, sodium, potassium. They are metallic in nature. This is non-metallic ion, that is ammonium ion. But when we look at the anion here, that is oxide, hydroxide, it is common. So we can define bases as a base is either metallic oxide, that means a substance that is having oxide and with that there is a metallic element. So it is either a metallic oxide or metallic hydroxide or ammonium hydroxide which reacts with hydronium ions of an acid to form salts and water only. For example, if we have copper oxide and copper oxide is reacting with acid, it will form copper chloride, that is a salt, and water. For example, the other examples that we can take is lead oxide, lead hydroxide, copper hydroxide, FeOH whole thrice, that is ferric hydroxide. But we should remember that this particular examples are the example of insoluble bases and they are not called as alkali. Why they are not called alkali? So let's first take a look that what are alkalis. An alkali is a compound which when dissolved in water yields hydroxyl ions as the only negatively charged ions. Means when a substance is dissolved in water, it will form hydroxyl ions. The formula of hydroxyl ion is OH negative ion. So when NaOH dissolved in water, it forms Na positive and OH negative. An alkali is a base soluble in water. Let's take some examples of alkali like sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide. From this, the first two are known as strong alkalis. Why they are known as strong alkalis? Because they are completely ionized in their aqueous solution. They will form ions when they are dissolved in water. The next two are known as weak alkalis. Why we are calling them weak alkalis? Because when they are dissolved in water, they will be partially ionizing. There will be ions, but there will be molecules as well. Also, we should remember that all alkalis are bases, but all bases are not alkalis because all bases are not soluble in water. Like copper oxide, FeOH whole thrice, ferric hydroxide, they are insoluble but they are bases because they are having OH and O in their structure. So therefore we should remember this particular point. Let's start with the classification of bases, and we will be classifying bases on two categories, that is strength and basicity. On the basis of strength, bases are further classified into strong and weak. We are specifying the word alkali because they are bases, those who are dissolved in water, we are measuring their strength. And on the basis of basicity, the bases are classified into monoacidic base, diacidic base and triacidic base. First, let's start the classification on the basis of strength. So what is strength of base? Strength of a base is the measure of concentration of hydroxyl ions it produces in its aqueous solution. More the hydroxyl ions, more strong the base will be, and if it is less concentration of hydroxyl ion, then it will be weak. So on the basis of this, there is strong alkali and weak alkali. What is strong alkali? So strong alkali is defined as an alkali that undergoes almost complete dissociation in aqueous solution to produce a high concentration of hydroxyl ion. So they produce high concentration of hydroxyl ion. And the example is sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide. For example, you can see the picture here. NaOH is dissolved in water and it will form sodium ions and hydroxyl ion. So it is completely ionizing and forming ions. So therefore there will be more concentration of OH negative ions here. So therefore it is termed as strong alkali. The next one is weak alkali. Weak alkali is defined as an alkali that undergoes partial dissociation or ionization in aqueous solution to produce a low concentration of OH negative ions, that is hydroxyl ions. For example, ammonium hydroxide and calcium hydroxide. We can take a look here. If we have an example of ammonium hydroxide when dissolves in water, it will form ammonium ions, hydroxyl ions. Also, there are some ammonium hydroxide molecules left that is unionizable. So therefore here we get ions as well as molecule. Since ammonium hydroxide is not completely ionizable, so therefore we are terming it as weak alkali, because here OH negative concentration will be less. On the basis of acidity, let's classify the bases. But we should know what is acidity. So acidity is the number of hydroxyl ions that can be produced by the ionization of one molecule of a base in its aqueous solution. So one molecule of the base producing how many hydroxyl ions? That is known as acidity of base. Let's first take some examples. First one is sodium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide is the second one. And the third one is aluminium hydroxide. And they are ionizing in the presence of water. So in the first case, when we look, sodium hydroxide, when dissolved in water, it will form two types of ions, that is sodium ion and hydroxyl ion. But it consists only one hydroxyl ion. So it is termed as monoacidic base. So how we will define monoacidic base? Bases which on ionization in water produces one hydroxyl ion per molecule of a base is known as monoacidic base. In the next example, that is calcium hydroxide, we can have a look that there are two hydroxyl ions which are produced. So it is known as diacidic base. So how we'll define that? Bases which on ionization in water produces two hydroxyl ions per molecule of a base, they are known as diacidic bases. In the third one, we can see that aluminium hydroxide produces 3 hydroxyl ions. So therefore it is known as triacidic base. So how do we define it? Bases which on ionization in water produces 3 hydroxyl ions per molecule of a base will be known as triacidic. And if it is more, then we will go for polyacidic, or we can use tetraacidic if it is 4. Now let's start with the next topic, that is preparation of bases. Now we are going to prepare these bases, that is sodium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide, etc. If we want to prepare them, there are different methods. And the first method is by action of oxygen on active metals. So when metal reacts with oxygen, bases are formed. For example, sodium reacts with oxygen, sodium oxide is formed. Now we should make a note that the formula which is formed here, it is according to its valency. Sodium has valency +1 and oxygen has valency -2. So accordingly, 2 sodium is required for 1 oxygen. Magnesium reacts with oxygen, it will form MgO because the valency of magnesium as well as oxygen is 2. The second method of preparation is by the action of water on reactive metals. So in the first case oxygen was reacting, in the second case water is reacting with active metals. So when active metal like sodium dissolves in water, it will form sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas is liberated. Same is the reaction with calcium. The next method with which we can prepare bases is by action of water on soluble metallic oxide. So when a soluble metallic oxide like sodium oxide dissolve in water, NaOH is formed, which is a soluble base. So accordingly we can prepare bases like NaOH, KOH. So the oxide should be dissolved in water and then we can obtain base. The next one is by double decomposition method. Double decomposition means both the anion, that is anion as well as cation, will change its place. FeCl3 in this, if it reacts with NaOH, the positive part will go with the negative part of the base and it will form FeOH whole thrice and it will be precipitated out because it will form an insoluble solid. And sodium will react with this Cl negative and it will form NaCl. The formulas will be according to their valencies. Similarly, copper sulfate when reacts with NaOH, it will form copper hydroxide and sodium sulfate. The next method is by the action of oxygen on metal sulfides. Like ZnS, if zinc sulfide, metal sulfide reacts with oxygen, it will form zinc oxide and SO2 gas is liberated. S plus O2 will give SO2. Also one of the oxygen will go with zinc and it will form zinc oxide. So metallic oxides are known as bases. So with this method we can prepare bases. Or we can do by the decomposition of metal carbonated salts. So when metal carbonatates are heated, they will form carbon dioxide gas and basic oxide. For example, calcium carbonate. When we take this, we will get calcium oxide and CO2 gas. But we should know that sodium and potassium carbonates are very much stable to heat, so they will not decompose to give us sodium oxide and potassium oxide. The next one is by decomposition of metal nitrate. So for example, if we take calcium nitrate, when calcium nitrate breaks in the presence of heat, it will form calcium oxide, NO2. As it is nitrate, it will give nitrogen dioxide gas and oxygen gas. But we should remember that sodium and potassium nitrates do not give metal oxide when decomposed. Next is the preparation of ammonium hydroxide. Ammonium hydroxide can be prepared by dissolving ammonia gas in water. So NH3 plus water will give you ammonium hydroxide, which is a weak alkali. Now the questions that are flashing on your screen, you can solve this with the help of today's lecture.